What is up? What is up, folks? How is everybody doing tonight? Finally, I'm glad to see y'all here. Glad to be here. Um, Sorry about the confusion over the last couple of days, the scheduling and rescheduling. First time was my fault. We had a little situation with a baseball game and possibly going to state. So we didn't really expect it to go that far, but it did, which is good. So yeah, we had a baseball game this weekend that we weren't necessarily counting on. So anyway, and then a little while ago, Scarrica messaged me and said, I totally forgot it's Father's Day, so she had plans. So, long story short, we had to push it again. I'm not 100% sure of when that will be just yet, but I'm guessing it'll either be one day this week or worst case this coming weekend. So, sorry about that, guys. I really look forward to it. I know y'all was really looking forward to it, but that's definitely going to happen. It's just, I guess it just wasn't meant to be this weekend. But hey, you know what? If it ain't worth waiting on, it ain't worth having, is what they say, I guess. So anyway, maybe it'll be even better having to wait. So let me run through here real quick and see who all we've got in the chat so far, and then we will get to it. So what I figured I'd do is, I covered a couple of the Candace episodes on the microphone. I didn't get to cover that last one, so I figure I would do that. And then I've also got a segment of Barons that I would like to cover if we have time. We may not. We'll just have to see. So I don't want to make it too late. It is Father's Day. So we'll just have to see. All right, so let's see who we got in here. All right, Daisy. Oh, happy Father's Day. Thank you very much, Daisy. Brett Booth. Let's see. Brett Booth, good seeing you, buddy. You are the man. You know that. I tell you that all the time. Miss Susan in the chat, hall monitor, already with the like and subscribe. Thank you very much, Miss Susan. You stay on them. Kelly, hey, good to see you, Kelly. Glad that you're here. And let's see if we got anybody else in here at the moment. Amelia in the house. How are you doing, Amelia? Good to see you here. Cody, what's up? Cody, Cody already firing the supers off. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the generosity. Rick in the house. How you doing, Rick? Let's see. Yes, Cody, I did get the email. The email was that's a lot better as far as being shareable and all being together in one place. So yes, very, very, very good. We're looking at all that now. So very interesting stuff, I have to say the least. Let's see. Did I miss anybody else? I'm sure there'll be more piling in. They generally do. So I guess for right now, we'll hit it. Okay. Fire in the Lord have mercy. Gonna be another one of them times. There we go. All right, guys. Fire in the hole this time.
Okay, very quickly, because I promised you guys this yesterday, I want to at first briefly discuss the necklace that Charlie Kirk was wearing on September 10th. As we all know, it was a St. Michael pendant. There was much ado about this necklace, a bizarre amount of storytelling relating to the.
Yes, and I'll just tell you, I have never bought into the necklace thing yet. I say yet. To me, it just ain't feasible. But we'll let her talk about it in a minute.
The necklace, and it sort of became this fixture amongst the Turning Point USA goons. Take a listen.
And so Gigi and I stayed in our room, and that morning he woke up super early and he came into our bedroom, into the bathroom, because that's where his wedding ring was and his necklace. And he came in and he grabbed that.
And his necklace had a cross on it, and it had St. Michael's medal.
Yeah, I wear it every day. It's right here.
Wow. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so when they finally cleared it, I got into the car and I pulled out my bag, and draped over my bag was Charlie's necklace that had a cross and medallions on it. And I had heard they were looking for that. And so cop was like, oh, we've been looking for that. I said, I got it. So I just took it.
That was actually a necklace that Erica gave Charlie when they were dating. And she said, well, you're a Christian, why don't you wear a cross? And he said, I don't know, I'm not a jewelry guy. And something happened where he was pressed and he felt the weight of the world on him, and he put that cross on, and he never took it off again until...
And I have to say, there was an absolute ridiculous, like just unbelievable amount of to do about the necklace. I mean, like, it was just, they talked about it all the time. And Frank Turek gave he had two different stories about how he ended up with that necklace and gave it back to her. And to me, it is just absolutely amazing that, to me, that falls in with her having his cell phone and, you know, a bunch of other things that just would absolutely in the real world would never happen. That thing, we all know that would be evidence in any other situation. So, yeah, I understand him being a little suspicious of the necklace just because of how much it was talked about and referenced. But I've got a little different idea. I've got a little different opinion on what that exact reason was.
He was, until he was assassinated, and the people caring for him ripped it off as they tried to save his life. And Erica has it on her all times now.
Straight up, 100% bullshit. Just about any angle that you choose to watch footage from, you can see that necklace plainly break and fly off of him. So, don't know why he told that. Maybe it's important for us to believe that that necklace stayed intact, but we all know without a shadow of doubt it did not stay intact. You can see it fly off, whip around. Some high energetic something or another made that necklace whip enough to break. And don't let the Fed slop bullshitters, you know, tell you that it was cavitation, that his neck literally swelled enough to fill up that 30-inch necklace or almost 30-inch necklace and break it. That's absolutely pure insanity to say or to believe. So
When we were about to leave, we finally got access to the car again. And Erica was asking for a necklace that Charlie was wearing. It's a cross necklace and had some medallions on it.
A necklace that Charlie was wearing. I mean, he could have at least said the necklace. I mean, at this point, that necklace has become somewhat of a celebrity in and of itself.
And when I went into the back seat of that
What's up, Elizabeth and Boomer? Good to see you here, Boomer.
car, I pulled my bag out, and that necklace was attached somehow, just kind of draped over the bag.
Somehow.
So I gave it to Mikey, and I said, Mikey, I want you to give this to Erica. It was a comfort to her.
Make sure you give that to Erica and not the FBI, please, sir.
A lot to be said there. First and foremost, why were the cops looking for the necklace? How did the cops even know that Charlie was wearing a necklace on that day? There was a theory after people started realizing how odd it was that everyone had a personal story about this necklace. There was a theory that began floating around that maybe it was the necklace that was rigged. And I would like to say categorically that I do not subscribe to that theory. I do not believe that was the case.
And I want to categorically say that I do not subscribe to that either. So, not at all.
Actually strongly discount that theory for two very simple reasons. One, that would leave things to chance. There was a chance that Charlie didn't put on his St. Michael necklace that morning. There was also a chance that while traveling in a highly pressurized cabin on a plane that morning to Salt Lake City, that something could have gone horribly wrong. Simply put, with that much planning that needed to be involved, to rig something, they would not have introduced a variable that was completely out of their control. Like, I hope he wears his necklace today. And they also wouldn't have put Mikey McCoy, Blakey Neff, and the entire team that were on board that jet traveling with Charlie with an explosive. So I just completely discount that theory.
And look, we all, I think, agree. I know Barron has said it before, and I've said it a few times myself. When Charlie walked in there, no way, no how, no matter what, was Charlie Kirk going to walk back out of that place. I feel like they did have backups. I feel like they had some plan Bs. But I don't think they would chance him not wearing the necklace either. Because again, like I said, he was not to walk out of that place. And just about everybody that was involved, I believe, knew that.
It is much more likely that the reason there was focus on the necklace, the reason the feds were looking for that necklace, the reason that it was given to Erica is because, if our theory is correct, it contained explosive residue. That would have probably been the single most.
And that's what I have believed the whole time. You hear a lot of people are like, well, why are they making such a big deal out of the necklace if it wasn't the necklace? Because the necklace was right there beside the device that we are convinced did hold the charge. And imagine the amount of forensic evidence that is on that thing, probably still on it. But yeah, there's probably all kinds of residues, different chemical compounds, not to mention, more than likely, there's probably some marks on it. With as much force as there was there, I wouldn't doubt there's some kind of, burn marks or something on there.
Thing that had explosive residue on it because it was on his chest. It would be that simple. And if the feds were in on it, as we all suspect, then they would have gone, okay, where is that? We need to make sure we get rid of this necklace in some capacity. And the safest bet would have been to say, well, we're giving it to his widow. Now, as we unpacked yesterday, when you run this theory that Charlie's microphone was rigged, suddenly every little oddity in this story, every little oddity from September 10th onward begins to make a lot more sense. To briefly recap, we put together this graphic for you guys. The rigged mic would go a long way in terms of explaining why the bomb dogs were kept away from the scene, okay, because they would have smelled the explosive. Why the crime scene was immediately paved over and the soil was excavated. That's because explosive residue, as we have learned, really
Can you really consider it a fuck up, Rick, though, when it's done intentionally? I mean, and I see what you're saying, and you're right on. But I think I think they did everything just like they intended to be honest with you. And Brett, I agree. The guy, he seems like he forgets at times that he's a public figure, and all the recordings of things he said.
Things onto soil. It is highly soil absorbed. So I can show you that here. I think we have a little science article that you can look up. You can research this on your own, but it says that the low water solubility and high soil absorption of PETN in particular, if we think that is the explosive, it would be very problematic.
And Boomer, one of the things about it is, so with the necklace, let's just speculate a little bit and say, okay, it was the necklace. If it was the necklace, there are several things that you would have to have there for it to explode. The first of which is the most important part, is a source of power. Obviously, the necklace does not have a battery in it. Is there some way they could have put a very small battery in there? Yeah, I'm sure there probably is. But with the microphone, you already have all the electronics. You already have the battery. You're literally going to go in there and just take and cut just a little bit of that battery out of there. And, not enough to even know it was there. You squeeze that little charge in. You've got everything there you need to work with to make the thing go off, to delay it, to do, time things perfectly. So that is why I've always leaned so hard towards the microphone.
And you would, in fact, need to dig out the soil. We introduced to you guys the Dan Merrill, who was the guy who was the paver who was called to come in on a Sunday. Well, actually, further on in his interview with Jimmy Rex, he describes how he was actually the second person or the second team. So
What's up, the best Heather? I know I apologize to everybody else, but and Tony Wilson, hey, good to see you here. I apologize for no Scarica. We just we had a rough weekend tying everything, getting everything hammered down, nailed down. So we're definitely going to do it, possibly one day next week, if not worst case this coming weekend. So I apologize.
To speak, that arrived before he even had arrived on that Sunday. Just a few days later, they had sent another government team to go in and to dig out all of the soil, 8 to 10 inches of soil. Take a listen to what he said.
When I showed up, I took pictures of what it looked like. They had taken out about 10 inches of the dirt around the whole place, right? You know, right now you can see where the pavers are, everything under that. Probably 10 inches had been excavated.
Why do you think they excavated so much dirt? You think that they were trying to make sure they got any bullet fragments or anything that was in there?
I wasn't
I don't think it was bullet fragments.
looking at it with that lens, dude.
Really?
I wasn't.
It didn't even cross your mind?
It didn't cross my mind.
Well, my answer to that would be, as I said, running this theory, that it is because of high soil absorption. It is a fixture of PETN explosive. Again, another thing that just sort of would lock into place. Why the feds were searching for Charlie Kirk's necklace? The same reason, explosive residue. Why there appears to be shattered black plastic or glass all over the SUV, which transported Charlie to the hospital. That would be the road bike. That would fit in perfectly. That would make sense. Why there is no available footage or any eyewitness reports of someone seen firing a shot from the Losey building. That's a big, strange anomaly here. Why do we not have those people? Yes, I saw him take a shot. Yeah, because no shot was actually taken from the Losey building. Why the feds did not conduct a standard GSR gunshot residue test when Tyler Robinson was brought in, because they knew that he would fail it. And that would not help them in court if Tyler Robinson, who they say they got after a 33-hour manhunt, 33 hours on a minute over, failed the GSR test, especially when they say he was wearing the same outfit.
And you know what? Maybe they did. But again, if they did, the reason we haven't heard anything about it is because there's nothing there to talk about, nothing that they want to talk about. I have a feeling that if they did give it to him, he did indeed fail that gunshot residue test. Just my opinion.
It would also explain why Terrell Farnsworth violated the crime scene immediately, quite boldly, to remove the SD card from that back footage, because it would have captured that the 30-06, which would have decapitated Charlie, did not go through. Also, it would explain why there was unusually no ambulance on standby. I always had an ambulance on standby at my Turning Point USA events when I toured. This is an anomaly. It would answer to that would be because, well, the paramedics would have seen the shattered road mic pieces and all of the other evidence, which did not support a gunshot wound. That would be the reason why you would.
And again, if it was the necklace, then you have to come up with a whole nother theory of what all those little black shards are. Again, if it was the microphone, it's perfectly consistent with pieces of that microphone case, that tempered glass that microphone is cased in. So
just have his security team transport him under this theory. Again, we're thinking while it's still legal to do so. Lastly, it would go some way of explaining why Erica was quick to forgive Tyler Robinson before the world, quicker than she was able to forgive Drewski when she.
Oh, they couldn't have them EMS guys poking their nose around. Shit, no. They didn't even take their bag, you know?
Came out weeks later.
Like they tried to hand them their EMS bag right before they got in the SUV, and they wouldn't even take it.
Looking like an assassin and saying that, you know, she was so angry at Drewski, much more angry than she was at Tyler Robinson. So bizarre. So bizarre. Well, it's easy to forgive someone if you maybe know they didn't do anything. I could probably forgive someone who didn't do something to me either. I don't know. Anyway, to move on, we were inundated yesterday with emails from people who work in the space of media, in the space of audio particularly, and they were positively incensed and insistent. They could not express enough how absolutely inappropriate, nonsensical, and utterly moot it would be for Charlie's mic to be placed on the inside of his shirt, a point that I briefly mentioned yesterday, but I didn't really harp on it. At least I didn't harp on it enough, apparently. Again, so this is just to recap for my fellow non-techies. We are referring to...
It sure would have been nice if someone could have, but I'd say they probably, supposedly right after, I don't know, shortly after the whole hospital, it's showing up at the hospital, they were cleaning it out, and then it was headed to auction. So,
Charlie's wireless microphone, not the handheld. Here it is again, that black squared Rode Mic Pro. It does also feature recording capability, and it also has a magnetic clasp, which holds it onto your shirt, the other side of your shirt. And here is how they put it onto Charlie on September 10th. So they have the magnetic clasp on the outside and yet the Rode mic on the inside. Now, if you are trying to get a clear and crisp audio, you do not place it on the inside of someone's shirt, right? That would just be foolish. That would be like us running the show and just like putting, I don't know, we wouldn't do this. Why would we want that ruffle of me moving my shirt? It really is common sense. And people who were emailing us were so frustrated by this. And as we examine the question, is this how they just had always done it? Were they always just, incompetent?
I can guarantee you there was all kind of footage. There was probably lots of footage from the hospital, but, I haven't seen any definitive proof of it. But, as Candace has said, and I think others have alluded to, the FBI seized all the hospital footage. So what about that?
Well, we had some time, ladies and gentlemen, and I told you the very first tour stop where I saw that as a new feature was the first tour, the first college campus tour, where I was not featured alongside Charlie Kirk due to the Zionist peer pressure, the external Zionist peer pressure. Since me leaving the Daily Wire, it extended to Charlie Kirk. They didn't want him associating with me anymore. And that is when it seems the team began to introduce the redundancy of the wireless Rode mic. Again, that was also admitted to me by Terrell Farm.
And like I said the other day, it's really not redundancy. They had their own separate purpose. And to me, that's not suspicious in any way. Charlie would always have his handheld mic, and his handheld mic always fed the speakers for the crowd. So you had your big speakers where the crowd could hear him speak. Well, you would never want to try to capture that audio coming out of those speakers for a live stream or what have you. So the Rode microphone would have been a separate feed capturing his voice and sending it with the live feed. That way you wouldn't get, it would just sound a whole lot better. You wouldn't get as much of the crowd sound either. But anyway, that's why I say it wasn't redundant. I could absolutely see the reason for him having both types of microphone. So to me, that's not suspicious at all.
Worth on the phone. So that's not imagined. That's not to say that there wasn't, some random one-off event where he had that redundancy, but as a rule, this is not something that Charlie had. He just kept his handheld. It began in fall 2024, the You're Being Brainwashed tour. And I should mention that at first, when they started introducing this, they did place the wireless mic on Charlie in a way that made audio sense. On the outside of his shirt. Take a look. This is September 5th, the University of Wisconsin in Madison. Well, he had no mic. On September 11th, University of North Texas, he has the mic. There we go. But you can see it's on the outside of his shirt because that makes sense. On September 18th, he was at the University of Pittsburgh. Again, you can see Charlie has it on the outside of his shirt. That makes sense. Suddenly on October 8th, at the University of Nevada in Reno, Charlie has it on the inside of his shirt. And then we see on the 11th, it's on the inside of his shirt. On October 30th, it's on the inside of his shirt. This is that expression that I said to you that we use here in the States called boiling the frog slowly, right? Yep. Introducing something new so he doesn't really recognize it and then changing one thing.
They couldn't just randomly suddenly put it on the underside of his shirt on September the 10th. That would seem a little odd, so.
Him adapted to it so he doesn't really ask questions and then lo and behold, something doesn't really make sense, but you're kind of used to the thing that's not making sense. Boiling the frog slowly before he could know, oh, it's getting really hot in here. It's time to jump outside of the pot. Now, the question is why, right? Why? Why would they do this if it doesn't make sense? Here is one of hundreds of emails that we received from audiovisual professionals. This person wrote, Candace and team, I'm an AV professional.
So Boomer, I don't really have anything here to demonstrate it. But basically, the shape charge would not have been what directly impacted his neck. The shape charge was intended, allegedly, to hit him in the chest and then mimic a gunshot wound to the chest. Well, the angle of that thing got messed up, and what the theory is that when it went off, something failed on that case. Weak for whatever reason, had a tiny little crack that nobody knew was there, and the case failed. Well, when the case failed, then the guts kind of came out of it. And at that point, the battery is what, we feel like hits him in the neck. If you look at the way that thing is sitting on his shirt, out like this, and the way he's sitting, because he's kind of hunched over, that trajectory from here it works. Straight from this microphone right there. And that's exactly where we see it hit him. It's right here. He's kind of hunched forward. Right there. So, and I don't know if you could even see that, but John Bray has got a bunch of information on that, and he should be on with us here in the next week or so. So we can definitely make sure and touch on that again specifically.
And I believe that you are onto something with the Rode lav mic. The only reason for Charlie to be rigged with two mics would be because one.
Thank you, Heather. That's what I'm here for. Absolutely. Thank you.
Was being sent to a broadcast recording or a live stream. Had both his handheld mic and the Rode mic been used to run audio to the PA system at the school using different channels, this would.
Yeah, and hold on, one more thing. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to push the microphone forward, and then let me get this comment off the screen. So if I'm leaned forward, I mean, it just barely hits his neck, but that's all it takes. It wasn't way around the side. If you look at where it hits him, it's literally right above the collarbone, kind of right there on the front part of his neck. So if his neck was extended a little and he was hunched forward, the angle of that thing shooting straight across his chest it works. I promise. John Bray has got he's got a picture I know on his X, and he may even have it on his YouTube channel, but where he has the magnetic clasp on his shirt where he was wearing it, and he has some kind of a metal rod that's stuck to the magnet, and he's got it up here showing what a straight line trajectory would be, and it works. So
cause a myriad of issues that would present with interference, overlapping.
I think Mr. Brett's still looking into the drone thing. There may be more to come on that soon. We are definitely still looking into that. Hey, Andrew Red, how are you doing? Are you one of the newer ones that's been in the chat, or is this your first time? Either way, it is good to see you here. If it is the first time, everybody will make you feel really welcome, I can promise you, but we've got a rule. If you pop in the chat once, we expect you to always pop in the chat whenever we're live, if at all possible. So hopefully you'll follow the rules, and hopefully we'll be seeing you here a lot more. I promise this is the best chat on the internet. So, yeah, you'll be a good fit. I promise. These people in this chat will make you feel really welcome.
And echo between the two channels. We need to find out about if this supposed recording or live stream was actually produced. If not, Big red flag. Okay. So we take a look at this. We
And 4:32 a.m. So what exact part of the world are you in?
take a look at the audiovisual team. We know Terrell Farnsworth is running this team. He has for over 10 years. Terrell Farnsworth is one of the quote unquote originals, as I say. He was, as we explained to you throughout our Erica Kirk series, he grew up with Tyler Boyer. Him and Tyler's families grew up together. Him and Tyler's families went to high school together. They go back generations.
I see what you mean, Boomer. It does kind of seem that way, but again, you have to figure it's on his chest, and it's the way it's turned. It's kind of turned up and out, and then again, he's leaned forward, and it doesn't hit him on the outside of the neck. If you look where the wound appears at, it's not on the outside part of his neck. It is more to the inside. So when that thing flies out of the microphone, it just kind of catches him right there on the inside part of the neck. I promise you, if you think about it, it works. Now, if it had struck him out here, if the wound had appeared out here on the outside part of the neck, I agree. Yes, it would have had to have made a turn, but that wound was more towards the inside of his neck there, and with his head, stuck out a little bit, it would have made like a perfect little spot for it to clip right there where that artery is, or where that vein is, the jugular vein.
To be frank with you, and as a part of this like Mormon clan, and Tyler was the one that was hiring everybody that was around Charlie Kirk. That's just a fact. So the next logical question,
hey, I like Dracula. That's awesome.
then is who particularly on Terrell's team mic'd Charlie? And because this guy might just be guilty of the crime of being incompetent, whoever this guy is. What amateur AV guy thought it was a good idea to capture audio beneath a t-shirt, to record audio beneath a t-shirt? And the answer is a young man named Philip Goldsberry Jr. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to show you this video that was put together by ex-user Sam Parker. He's just unpacking the moment so you can see it, that Charlie gets mic'd up. And he also further explains how and why we are positively certain that it is a Rode Wireless Mic Pro that is put onto Charlie. Take a listen.
So here we're just seeing Philip Goldsberry clip it onto Charlie's shirt. Here's a few moments beforehand. We can see Philip Goldsberry has the Rode Wireless Pro microphone in his hand, and he's approaching Charlie with it. Here's another angle. You can see him holding the Rode Wireless Pro microphone in his hand, talking to, it looks like, Terrell Farnsworth. There it is in his right hand. You see that? That's the Rode Wireless Pro microphone. Now we're going to see Philip Goldsberry sneak from behind Frank Turek there, and you can see the lapel magnet and the microphone transmitter in his hand. See that? Transmitter in one hand, lapel magnet in the other. Then I want you to see the dual charging storage cases or docking stations. This is how we know it's the Rode Wireless Pro microphone, because it comes with the dual charging cases and docking stations.
There are also magnetic clips so that you can hide these behind your shirt or something like that. And all you'll see is just like a little magnet.
Okay.
And here you can see that Philip Goldsberry secured it under Charlie's shirt next to the necklace.
Okay. Under Charlie's shirt next to the necklace. It goes a long way of explaining why it looks like the necklace breaks first before Charlie is actually injured by any projectile. But more on that later. We want to focus here on the person who mic'd him, Philip Goldsberry Jr. I was already aware that it was Philip Goldsberry Jr. who had mic'd Charlie. I figured that out pretty soon, whoever everybody was on the team. And really, very early on, because I was running, down so many different pathways, I really just did a tiny bit of digging into who he was. And I, of course, immediately rolled my eyes when I discovered that his father was a pastor, a reverend, who also happened to study.
Oh God, imagine that.
Psychology. I just was like, okay, we get it. Everybody is a pastor. We got Frank Turek
Or a, high up military person.
here. We got Rob McCoy. We got everybody here is like the TPUSA faith. And so Phillips Goldsberry.
Yes, I do believe it did. I do know that it went into motion before the wound appeared. And I'm guessing that when it went into motion is the same is the same time that the break happened. That's just, I don't know if there's any footage that actually 100% confirms that, but I do believe when the necklace whipped, it was already broke. I don't think it broke after the fact. I would say as soon as that charge went off, it separated that necklace and whipped it around. So I do believe that is true. I do believe that the necklace broke before the wound appeared.
Being raised by a pastor, just like I said, made me give an eye roll. But things got pretty interesting when we looked at, I guess, a little bit more about who his father is. Also, his name is Dr. Philip Goldsberry. So they have obviously the same name. That's his dad right there. He is a pastor.
Yeah, Brett. And Sam Parker is the shit. He is really good. Really good. If anybody's on X, go look him up. Based Sam Parker.
In Arizona. And I asked my team to figure out just like basic facts about him. Like, where is he from? Like, is there going to be another connection here? What's he involved in as a pastor? And you guys, our connecting themes spreadsheet is probably going to grow a little bit longer because you're not going to believe me. Because back in 2006, when Erica was getting her teen Miss America crown under the Trump Miss Universal organization, Dr. Philip Goldsberry co-founded a charitable organization which began doing work in Eastern Europe.
Surely not. No freaking way.
Organization would come to be known as Soder Global Ministries. And of course, they were in Ukraine. And of course, they were in Romania, helping to provide medical care to orphanages. I kid you not. I can't take it. I cannot take it. It's not possible. All of my homies are doing work in Eastern Europe, said no.
Boomer, yes, I guess that is a possibility. And I know exactly what you mean. You know, those cables that snap, they'll cut you in half. I mean, it's ridiculous what they can do to you. That being said, it was such a large wound. That's why I kind of don't lean towards that necessarily. It is a really big, really square looking wound. I don't know if you saw the actual footage. I know most people have at some point. But if you look at the footage, the hole almost looks square. And, you know, of course, John's done his comparisons with the measurements of the battery and the shape of it, you know, and compared it to the shape and measurements of the wound, and it matches really good. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but it appears that whatever hit him was quite large, just because of that square looking hole that showed up in his neck. Big hole too.
Nobody ever. It's just not possible. Look around, tag 10 of your homies, see how many people are doing ministry and work and helping Romanian orphans. This is not possible. Okay. But this is who Philip Goldsberry's dad is. And this is a fact. We verified it. We have pictures. Now, despite starting to do work before 2010, they didn't officially file paperwork for their global ministries until 2010, right? 2010 being the very year that the Black Sea Rotational Force set up a base in Romania, which would subsequently be accused of trafficking and prostituting children. This is what landed Erica's Romanian angels in some hot water online when they realized she was partnering with Colonel Otto Buscher, and Colonel Otto Buscher was the person who was accused of doing this, like setting up this base and just trafficking children through it, okay? So today, Dr. Goldsberry is the chairman of the board of Soder Global Ministries. Here is his bio that was featured on their website. It has since been updated, but this is back in 2013. You can see, like I said, we have confirmed this is in fact his father. And here is their website, their current website, where they document their work in Eastern Europe. Like I said, I cannot make this up. 2005, again, before they had legal paperwork that we could find, it says they provided medical care in Albania through primary care clinics in baby nurseries and orphanages and schools. Now, very surprised to hear that because I recently read that Ivanka discovered Albania this year. Can you take it full screen so I can continue to read? In 2006, they provided medical care in Romania through primary care clinics in orphanages and schools. Please allow me to remind you that in these years, 2006, 2005, this is also when Tyler Boyer is out doing missionary work in this exact same region. In 2008, which this one I just think is weird.
They just all happen to be over in Eastern Europe doing the same kind of work for years and years and years, all in the same time period. But nobody ever bumped into each other, and somehow or another, they all, met up over here and came to Turning Point USA. Oh, wow. You did that? Really? I did that too. Man, that's just amazing. God put us here together.
They taught basic hygiene and self-care techniques to orphans and the elderly in Ukraine, visited classrooms to provide education to the youth and adolescents regarding human
What's up, Elizabeth? Good to see you. Good to see you.
trafficking, provided medical care through primary care clinic in a large state orphanage. 2010, they taught physicians in Albania basic and advanced life support skills in rigorous 3-day seminar. They visited a shelter for human trafficking victims and provided basic first aid instruction. Guys, this can't keep being a theme. Do we agree that this isn't real? Do we all just got to get the sense that this isn't possible, that everybody around Turning Point USA Faith is involved in human sex trafficking organizations and in the region of Eastern Europe, and somehow, some way, it seems like they're crossing paths potentially, but they don't want to answer any questions, like Erica, about why I'm hearing from people that she's hanging out at the same model office as Jeffrey Epstein, a woman that went down who was very close to Jeffrey Epstein, because Eastern European models seem to be being trafficked through her firm. Does anybody find all of this to be very strange, that almost to the day that Charlie and Erica go on their first date is when Jeffrey Epstein goes down? 2019, I think it was August of 2019 that Jeffrey Epstein kills himself.
What's up, Heather? Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for coming and seeing us.
I can't accept this as reality. I can't accept that all of these people didn't know each other and got together like, oh my gosh, me too. I was there. And
for anybody that just popped up in the chat and didn't hear me earlier, I apologize. No Scarica tonight. It just wasn't in the cards. We had to reschedule. We're going to do it either one day this coming week or by the weekend. But yeah, it just didn't work out. But it is happening. It is definitely happening. We both are excited to do it. Can't wait to do it. And it will be ASAP.
Romania doing stuff for orphans too. Oh my God, you too? That's so strange. How amazing. How godly. Too amazing, guys. Too amazing to be believed. Everyone at Turning Point USA just has this bizarre connection to Romania and Ukraine and orphans, and I just can't shake this feeling that they all somehow knew each other. I mean, we know Tyler and Erica and Terrell Farnsworth certainly knew each other. We know that for a fact. We proved that in our Erica Kirk series. We showed how they crossed paths, how they knew each other. But man, oh man, all of these pastors and the donors and Eastern Europe, it makes me uncomfortable. It makes my skin crawl. And I'm going to show you where we're at right now on our Connecting Themes spreadsheet as we take a look at the Eastern European connection. That plane, don't forget, that left on the day of Charlie's assassination, the 888 plane, was formerly registered in Romania before it was registered there. And the owners of that plane today help with trafficking victims. In late 2012, we know that Erica begins her Romanian Angels project and is working with Otto Buscher in some capacity, because the U.S. Marines is where she's doing this, on the U.S. Marine base, partnered with them, as she says. Tyler Boyer, we know in 2011, went to Romania to work with the Romanian government. 2013, Tyler Boyer posts a photo of himself with a Ukrainian orphan named Natalia. She doesn't speak any English, and he claims to be helping an adoption agency program. I think we have that photo. I don't know if you have it handy. If not, no worries. Here we go. Like, that's weird. Like, do we look at these people and go, oh, they're all just such great people. This is really what they're doing. I don't feel that way.
I don't feel that way at all either. These people give me the icks big time.
Next up, we have Pastor Greg Laurie's church, Harvest Church, immediately.
I was just thinking about Greg Laurie. Like, what the hell, you know? Him and Erica doing that "Let's Make Heaven Crowded" tour, one Charlie Kirk at a time, allegedly. But yeah, you know, there's allegations of him allowing or turning a blind eye to somebody that was abusing children over there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't think I know anybody that has ever been accused of anything like that or been associated with anybody like that for any reason. But yet these people, every single person, it seems that they are connected to, that they work with, has some type of prior experience in some shape, form, or fashion with that world.
Erica went on tour after Charlie's assassination with Pastor Greg Laurie, and they are currently being taken through the court system because they are being credibly accused of trafficking from Romania. Greg Laurie is not denying that something took place in Romania. He's saying it's not a broader church issue. It's just this guy at the church who was doing it. We'll see how that plays out. Andrew Krovet's brother, Curtis, is currently stationed in Romania as a lieutenant colonel, or he was stationed in Romania as a lieutenant colonel recently. Tyler Boyer holds a degree in Russian studies. He's fluent in Russian, and he lived in Russia for 2 years and spent time in the Ukraine during that time. Rob McCoy also adopted a 12-year-old girl named Natalia from Russia in 2006. We already discussed Greg Laurie. I think I had that point on there twice. Phil Goldsberry, we now add him to our list. Soder Global Ministries in 2006, which does charity work. Did charity work at orphanages, teaching people hygiene or something in Romania, Albania, and in the Ukraine. And we could go through all of the people who are somehow involved.
Andra, I mean, is hygiene a big issue in Romania? I've never heard that it is. Would you see a big call for having hygiene taught there in your country? Curious.
In the charity of sex trafficking, even up to their biggest donor of Turning Point USA, Nelda Buckman, extensively involved in rescuing children from being sexually abused and trafficked. Again, I'll ask the question, why does this make my skin crawl? Does this seem normal to you as a theme that keeps coming up? I told you when Charlie met Erica, she brought.
That's kind of what I figured, Andrew. That's exactly what I figured.
The quote unquote faith.
It's not like Romania is a third world country now. I mean, I could see that in some places of the world, but Romania, I just don't see it.
And she stayed with Faith, and she constantly involved herself in Faith, and she guided him on who he should have around him on the basis of faith. People like Victor Marx, who tells us his wife Eileen.
Yes, absolutely. Good point, Heather B. That is true, because Romania seems to come up so many times. I mean, look, the Romanian Angels thing. So, yeah, we've got our resident Romanian specialist in the house. Thank you very much. Well, I'm sure that we will be, we'll have questions from time to time. So we appreciate you.
Is like a mentor to her. Everyone is a mentor to Erica, gives me the heebie-jeebies. And we're supposed to believe that Erica's somehow different? No, because she gives everybody the heebie-jeebies. Every time she speaks, people are going, something's not right. I don't feel comfortable around her. I refuse to accept that this is a coincidence. It feels to me like a broader conspiracy. It feels to me like all of these people know each other from another life, and they sort of infiltrated Turning Point USA. That's how I feel. But I have to say, bless Terrell Farnsworth, the CEO of Visual Impulse, longtime audio and visual guy for.
Absolutely. That's right, Heather B. Absolutely no pressure whatsoever. But I'm sure that we will much appreciate anything that you can and want to help us out on in that way.
Charlie and Turning Point USA, who was an absolute nervous wreck. When I spoke to him by phone following the assassination, it was Terrell single-handedly who was the person who made me realize that something was very wrong with September 10th. His mere presence there, that was new. His assertion to me that they were trying something new. That's why he started going to these sorts of events that required him to oversee the audio division. His absurd claim, patently absurd claim, that he did not know how to send a video file, which then transformed into him expressing a bizarre fear that he didn't want to send it because he thought Google was going to hack him.
Google was going to hack him. Like Google doesn't have access and doesn't see every single piece of information that gets sent on the internet. Like that's the dumbest excuse I think I've ever heard.
Really, Terrell? Because he also informed me, and this is why I say bless him, that they were live streaming the event to the ops back in Phoenix. That's a direct quote. The ops back in Phoenix.
We're becoming very, very familiar with ops, aren't we, guys?
They were apparently watching that event back live. Why? He told me because Charlie wanted the clips to be cut immediately. He was constantly working to be faster. And that goes some way of answering the person who emailed us and said, where was this being live streamed? That's a good question, because that microphone must have caught something, right? But curiously, when I asked him whether or not those ops were stationed at the Turning Point headquarters, he told me no. Unclear where in Phoenix exactly these ops were watching Charlie die. Who were these ops? This should be a very easy data point that we can confirm, but we can't. Okay, we've exhausted every resource at Turning Point USA, employees current and former, and the response that we have received across the board is the same. They were told it was being live streamed, but nobody knows where exactly.
What do you want to bet it wasn't going back to Arizona? What do you want to bet it was going across the pond, like over to the Middle East, possibly like that little country about the size of New Jersey over there? Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? Why would Charlie not want the clips to be live streamed to his office if that's true? If what Terrell told me is true, where was it going? Who was watching it? Who are the ops? Are they the real ops? All of this is tremendously interesting, and we should get to the bottom of it. It makes entirely no sense that the police did not take a lot of this stuff into evidence. The feds did not take a lot of this stuff into evidence. I mean, how pointedly ridiculous that they gave Erica the necklace back. And also, where are Charlie's clothes that he was wearing? Right?
Boy, don't you know them clothes have got some shit on them.
Where are Charlie's clothes that he was wearing on that day? Because
probably long been incinerated. What do you want to bet? Those things probably got destroyed on the spot.
If I'm Tyler Robinson's defense, I would be requesting that white Freedom shirt that he was wearing. Where I feel what was meant to happen is the explosive, the shaped charge was actually supposed to hit him in the chest. It was supposed to look like he got shot in the chest. People wouldn't have questioned it because the blood obviously would have gone onto his shirt. People would have seen that and assumed he got hit in the chest.
Internet Complaint Department, what is up? Good to see you here. Good to see you here.
Where's that T-shirt? I don't see it listed as evidence in the court hearing. On his defense, I would find that T-shirt.
Tony, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but that is definitely an interesting, an interesting thought. And, but yeah, somebody ought to be looking into what all you would have to be able to do that.
And I would have it tested for explosive residue, which might be maintained in the fabric particles. That's assuming the shirt was even collected and stored by the feds, because I bet it wasn't, given the fact they didn't even store his handheld microphone as evidence. How is it possible that Turning Point USA has that microphone? Think deeply about how truly bonkers it is that the handheld mic, which contained that immediate blood spatter that we showed you, it went forward. The immediate blood spatter is on Charlie's left hand, and it is on the microphone. And the feds deemed it appropriate to give that to Turning Point USA so that they could put it in a glass encasement and raise money off of it. Make that make sense.
Along with the mock-up tent, people could get under the tent that looked like the one Charlie was shot and killed under, and take pictures, all smiling and stuff. Like it's so sick and twisted.
Why does it seem that everything that contained critical evidence was immediately returned to Erica? Charlie's cell phone?
I don't know. We're pretty good ways into it, Miss Debbie. I don't know what's up with the notifications lately. So many people don't get them. Somebody else earlier said they didn't get a notification. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna have to file a complaint.
The night before, text messages expressing his fear that he was going to be killed. We're supposed to believe he thought he was going to be killed by a trans furry. That was it. The night before, he just, after having an argument and saying he was leaving the pro-Israel cause and having a rabbi call him and Josh Hammer call him, and he's on this group text and he's saying, you guys keep the money, I don't want it. He went to bed that night and he was worried about a trans furry killing.
No, not at all. I went through this on one of my shows a while back. You had this timeline of all of these things that happened this day, and one of which was the group message where he says about the Jewish donors, living up to all the stereotypes. How he won't be blackmailed, whatever, and that leaving him no choice but to leave the pro-Israeli cause. So he says that. Then later on that day, he's on this Zoom call or what have you with Josh Hammer and the rabbi, and so on and so forth. And they make it out like they're just brushing up on his, debate and talking points and stuff like that. No, pretty sure that was one last chance. If I had to guess, that was one last chance. That was them getting together and talking to Charlie, trying to talk some sense into it and say, look, you had better get back in line. And when he refused to do so, it was just a couple hours later that he sent the text that said that they're going to kill me, or I'm afraid they're going to kill me, to Dan Flood. So no, he was not referring to some trans furry when he said he thought they were going to kill him. The reason why he said that were the things that led up to that point that he had that feeling throughout that day.
Him, and he texted his team and said, that's who's going to kill me. Have those messages been subpoenaed? Why was his phone given to Erica as opposed to being held in evidence? Charlie's bloody microphone given to Turning Point USA more broadly, given to Erica to sulk over. Charlie's necklace, everything was handed over to Erica. Why? I suspect because they were ushering us into the era of the widow. No one can question the widow. You don't have a heart. What do you mean? How dare anybody question why she wants to wear her husband's pendant? Why she wants to cry over the bloody microphone as she raises money to the highest bidder? How dare anybody question why she wants to be surrounded by the evidence to commemorate Charlie Kirk? That's the reason they're doing that. But let me tell you, it is high time that we ask questions about why she was given any of that stuff. And it would be very good for somebody to find out where Charlie's clothes are, particularly that white freedom shirt that he was wearing on the day of his assassination. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys, right now there's a new generation of mothers and fathers that are rising up, parents who want to be there for their babies, build strong families, and create a future that's filled with compassion, courage, and love. But for many expectant parents, tallow skincare products that I've ever used, they're tallow. You guys enough. Jeffrey Epstein operated a global trafficking ring, and he worked, according to him and his emails, for the Rothschilds. That is not a network that would have been allowed to simply go down because he got arrested. That is not a man that they would have simply allowed to rot away in prison and said, okay, well, we got caught, it's over. And I have this deep suspicion that the Charlie Kirk assassination is connected to the Jeffrey Epstein world. I just do. That's how I feel. And every little bit of data that we get further supports that from Tucker Carlson's speech, absolutely destroying Jeffrey Epstein, asking questions about where people's money was coming from. When you don't know how people are making money, it means they're not making it in a good way, no matter how much they dress it up or try to present themselves as a businessman. That is the story of Jeffrey Epstein. We were working on an Epstein series when all of this happened. We were working on an Epstein series when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Charlie was asking a lot of questions about Jeffrey.
I don't know, Heather B. I mean, look, she got his necklace. She got his phone. I mean, why not? I mean, I think it very well could be. I don't know. Maybe not. But they claim it is the real Mike, or at least that's what I've heard. So I don't know. Like I said, it may not be, but that is what I've heard. That is what they were saying, that was his microphone in that case. So who knows?
Jeffrey Epstein, and then he got a phone call from the president of the United States asking him to stop doing that, saying that it was making. Why would Trump tell him to stop doing that? It doesn't make any sense. I feel like the Epstein network, and again, this is my opinion. None of this is a fact, but it is my opinion given all the research.
Let's see. You knew that none of your podcast friends had asked where the shirt was, but failed to bring this question up. Now Barron has confessed this week he was a coward. It's just a step forward. Why did you not? I'm not exactly sure what that means. Yeah, it looks like other people in the chat don't understand either. So maybe if you expound on that just a little bit, that'd be nice. Yeah, because I don't really shy away from anything when it comes to this subject. So yeah.
Research that we have done over the past 9 months, it is my opinion that Jeffrey Epstein's network reemerged in the not-for-profit world, in the church world, in the pastor world, because we all know that these pastors are not sounding right to us. Their obsession with Israel, their nastiness toward anybody who is questioning the Charlie Kirk narrative when there are such
Okay, I'm trying to say that this critical piece of evidence was his and that podcasters are aiding in the cover-up. I told all of them it was done and they dared not discuss it. Do you mean the shirt? Because yes, I have I have discussed the shirt, the clothes a few times. That would have been a very important piece of evidence. And like I said, I would bet a paycheck on it that it was destroyed. It probably doesn't exist.
obvious holes in the story. That means they have another boss. They are not committed to truth. They are not committed to the word, Jesus Christ. That is not what they are in the business of. They are in the business of psychology and trying to convince people that because they're holding a Bible, it's not possible for them to be involved in anything dirty. I strongly disagree with that. I think Charlie's assassination is exposing something much bigger than we could have ever imagined. Anyway, I want to show you another discrepancy, another September 10th discrepancy. This time it is pertaining to CPR. You heard Andrew Colvett earlier say, we showed you the clip of him on Laura Ingraham saying about the necklace that it was removed as they were.
Miss Debbie, I don't know if they auctioned it off or not. I do know that it was on display at some kind of event there at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe they auctioned it off, but I do know it was on display anyway.
Trying to save his life. Perhaps the implication being that that necklace was removed because they were trying to do CPR. Well, if you think they did CPR, you would be right and you would be wrong, depending on who you listened to that was in the car on the way to the hospital. Here is what Frank Turek has to say about CPR.
We're cutting through intersections, we're just beeping the horn. This is not a emergency vehicle. There's no lights. There's none of this. And I go, we got to start CPR. So I try and start that. We were giving him CPR, but nothing was happening. It wasn't like if we had better first aid or we had better medical facilities or we were faster to the hospital, we could have saved him. We couldn't.
So they attempted CPR and it didn't work. Now here's Brian Harpole, and he's not going to say that they attempted CPR at all. Take a listen.
Frank's just praying out loud, and Rick's praying, and I can hear just the car revving, just going hard. And I hear Dan just calling out the directions to Justin, so he doesn't have to look at anything but the road. And we get there.
Was CPR being conducted during this time?
No, because right now I got to stop that bleeding.
Yeah, no, I had heard conflicting reports, and I was a little confused by that. Like, we can't start doing CPR before the bleeding stops. Right. And people don't understand that.
Prioritization of care, right? Yeah. And so it's like, I've got to get that bleeding stopped before. And then I knew that we were not that far from the hospital.
That dude makes me sick to hear him talk.
And the human body can, so I got to stop that bleeding.
Yeah.
I just got to stop the bleeding.
Yeah. So that's another discrepancy that they're not going to answer for. In fact, I think even Rob McCoy doubled down on stage. I think we have that clip, and said that Frank Turek on the way to the hospital conducted CER. But Brian Harpole just said that Frank Turek was just in the backseat praying. Take a listen to what Rob McCoy had to say.
That was Frank Turek. He was covered in blood because he was giving Charlie CPR.
Bullshit.
Was he just in the backseat praying? Was he giving Charlie CPR? Actually, it's a good question, because Frank Turek then does say that at the hospital, Mikey was so great and they gave them scrubs and they all had to change because they were covered in blood. Well, why was he covered in blood? We certainly saw that he didn't touch Charlie while they got into the car. We saw that he got into the back seat. That was.
How was it that you forced Candace to bring this to the table? Just curious.
Kind of fit Brian's narrative that he was in the back seat and wasn't too involved and didn't have blood all over him. Also, if he changed into scrubs, why were his kids still on FaceTime the whole time? They were just sitting in a puddle of their dad's pants and shirts while the dad.
Yeah. So according to Frank Turek, he forgot and he left his kid on FaceTime the whole time that they were at the hospital. And then all of a sudden they get back to the hotel room and he's like, whoa, I'm still on FaceTime with my kid. But when him and Jack Hibbs sat down and did their little bullshit interview a couple days ago, Frank Turek says that he called Jack Hibbs from the hospital. Matter of fact, FaceTimed him. So I'm not sure how that was possible.
Was wearing scrubs. None of this is making any sense. None of these stories are adding up. And their answer to this is to simply smear people, to threaten lawsuits and desists, as if that's going to make us think that they're telling the truth. Nope, far from it. Far from it. I just feel that Charlie was surrounded by complete and utter psychopaths, truly, because it does not make sense why you would not just simply answer or have a debate or have a discussion and clear some things up. And by the way, I want to say there may be valid reasons for all of this. Like I said, there may be an explanation for how Erica was supporting herself, how she was flying around the world, living in New York City, why all of them are somehow connected to Eastern Europe at a time where, just to be clear,
I'll go back and check it out for sure. For sure. I watched it once. I'll watch it again. Well, I got super chats now, buddy. So anytime you want to get something out there to me, I promise the super chat will always work. Worst case scenario. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about it before and I'll talk about it anytime. I mean, the shirt is probably the most important piece of evidence there is. One of the most important anyway. And I can almost guarantee you that shirt is no more. I can guarantee you that thing was destroyed, along with probably no telling how much other things, especially when we start talking about footage. I mean, like, the FBI probably never got this footage that Terrell Farnsworth supposedly gave them. And even if they had, they wouldn't have done anything with it. They're covering it up too. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I agree 100%. That would have been great, but I I just don't think it exists anymore.
When you're in a country after a conflict, after a civil war, and you're in a corrupt country, we know that trafficking takes place all the time. We know that these trafficking scandals are real. We know that there have been scandals in the past, which we'll unpack tomorrow, that our government and our military were involved in. There may be a valid explanation for all of that. But the fact that they're
Yeah, Tony, look into that.
not willing to sit down and clarify these points doesn't bode well for them. I don't think it bodes well for them. I don't think anybody looking at Erica Kirk, who is not somehow being paid to hold a positive perspective of her, I don't think anybody reasonably thinks that she's a victim. No, she comes across like a player in this. At best, as somebody who formerly worked for them said online yesterday, at best, she's very suspicious. At worst, she seems to be an accessory to a cover-up. Certainly a cover-up, because there's so many things that she could do to help clarify matters other than just perform and cry. She could give access to so many investigators that are on the ground, who are just independent investigators that are trying to get answers to basic questions. She could clarify things that she's done in the past. She could clarify things that happened that day.
That's never
She could
gonna
show his
happen.
text messages to prove that he really was scared that a trans person on a rooftop was going to kill him the night before. None of this stuff would impact the court case. So don't give me the crap about, well, how's it going to ruin your court case if it's the truth? Actually, that would bolster your court case. Look, here's his message. Charlie was terrified that this might happen, and look, it did. He thought a trans furry was going to kill him. He said it the night before, and then it did. Something's not right. Anyway, on to something funnier that made me chuckle yesterday. I was just like scrolling through Twitter, and I always try to stay away from the pettier things about Erica that don't register as right, but I just go, okay, it's a little too petty when people talk about her outfits, wearing the glitter pants and things like that. Yeah, it does kind of build a profile of somebody, but I have certainly in our Erica series stayed away from her outfits and the things that she's wearing that are quite strange. I personally just say that I think her stylist is just deeply dislikes her, whoever it is, deeply dislikes her. And it's their way to contribute to the investigation by styling her in ridiculous outfits. But I did see this tweet, and it's something that in the back of my mind has been bothering me for a very long time. And I laughed so loud because I was like, okay, this is one little petty thing that I promise you I have thought for a very long time was strange. And this person just tweeted it, so I laughed. This is in jest, guys. But she wrote, can we just discuss Erica's signature for a minute? It's difficult to decipher, but she writes Erica Lane Kirk in the most psychopathic way.
Yes, and spoiler alert, according to experts, that is kind of a psychopathic way of doing your signature. So that's probably the meat and taters of that. But before we go, we're going to do something a little more. We're going to do something a little more fun. Let's see. Okay, which one we're going to do? We'll do this one. We'll start out here. Y'all know I'm buddies with Matt from Friends with Matt, and he was telling me anytime I want to play some of his stuff, I'm more than welcome to do it, and he won't even copyright strike me. So I don't know why I'd never thought to do that, but for any of you that do not watch him or have not watched him, first of all, you need to go over there, Friends with Matt, and subscribe. And yeah, we're gonna play one of his videos. He has got into a little bit of comedy stuff lately, and yeah, I really enjoy it, and I figure some of y'all probably will too. So let's check one of these out.
So you have some gossip for me? Yes, sir, I do. And this time, it's about how the people at TPUSA are totally not fake and gay these days. That's perfect. I love finding out that the people from TPUSA are totally not fake and gay these days. Because it barely ever happens these days. That's right. That's right. Well, today's story is about a girl named Alex Clark. She's a political commentator for TPUSA, and she's got quite a spicy personality. Okay, so tell me about this Alex Clark girl. Like, what makes her personality so spicy? Well, she just got engaged to a guy named Vance. Vance? That's a manly name. Oh, Vance is one of the manliest men ever, sir. Really? Let me see him. Check him out.
Well, I'm Vance Velberg, and I was the instructor of the beginning fiddle class, so I'm going to play you some tunes I taught. This first one is called Tennessee Waltz.
Wait, I thought you said he was manly. No one is manlier than Vance, sir. And that guy is marrying Alex Clark, who works for TPUSA. Yes, sir. Why does TPUSA always do this? What do they do, sir? They're faking gay. Every single time. Every single time TPUSA turns out to be a little bit more fake and gay than the previous day. Oh no, sir. Alex Clark and Vance are definitely not fake and gay, sir. Have you seen the guy? He looks and acts fake and gay. Actually, sir, Vance is a champion. How so? Well, he's an artist.
What we do here is art. Yeah. Oftentimes people come and you're like, they don't understand. Yeah. They're demanding things. And as an artist, you have to take your time. You have to create. You can't rush art.
Okay, so you're telling me that guy is marrying Alex Clark, the TPUSA political commentator? Yes, I am, sir. And it's going to be one big celebration. Everybody's invited. Oh, really? That's so nice of them to invite everyone. Well, sir, there actually is one person who's not invited to the wedding. What? Who?
Candace.
You might have heard of her. She's on YouTube. Candace Owens. Was she expecting to go to the wedding? No, sir. Would she have even wanted to go to the wedding? No, sir. Well, certainly Candace was offended being singled out like that. She didn't care, sir. Oh, but that's still so strange that there was even an announcement about people who are not going to be invited to the wedding. Do people usually do that? Only if you're fake and gay, sir. What? I thought we were supposed to be finding out about how TPUSA is totally not fake and gay these days. Well, then you stay tuned because the show is just getting started.
Yeah, Miss Susan, he's definitely taking his editing to a new level. Oh, let's see here. All right, let's close out with one more of these. Let's see. Let's see. So many to choose from. Let's see. Come on now. Which one? Let's see. I did a Baron. I pulled a Baron. Okay, here we go.
Why are you watching it so fast?
With near absolute certainty, Tyler Robinson was in custody at 6:25 p.m. in Washington County, where he was Mirandized.
What do you mean? I watch them all like this. I'm doing research. Well, I watch everyone like this but Candace. I don't have time. I know what they're saying. I can show you. Here.
Barron just confirmed that Tyler Robinson was in custody at Washington County Sheriff's Office at 6:50 p.m. on September 11th, right? Well, what the FBI was trying to say is that Tyler made his confession on Discord after he was already in custody. Somebody's lying. The FBI is so cooked. Oh, Candace was really great. It sucks that you couldn't understand it. So Dumb Gary, the one from that Practical show, you know, the one that's always messing up all the time, he just accidentally confirmed that Erica Kirk's Fort Huachuca alibi photo with the finger and the kids, not of her kids. We knew it, not her kids. Freaking knew it. So where was she, huh? Where was she? Oh, she's cooked too. Oh, you know Jesse on Fire, the one that works out with his wife, they're really cool. Well, you remember that guy, Palm Beach Pete? Well, Jesse just did a show on Palm Beach Pete, that guy that looks just like Einstein. Well, a lot of people think that's actually Einstein because they have identical bottom teeth. And now Palm Beach Pete, he got all paranoid and went and has bottom teeth fixed. He said he doesn't want to look like that scumbag. Oh, Trigger Smart, have you seen him? He is so...
Okay. Oh, that wasn't what I was thinking. That was, I clicked on the wrong daggone one. Where? Don't that look familiar? we could sit here and watch these for hours. All right, guys. Well, we didn't get to Barron. We'll cover Barron. I may do it Tuesday morning. I figured I'd do a little Matt, and figured I'd do a little bit of Scarrica too. Get y'all even more warmed up for that. So maybe we'll get to do that here in the next few days. Like I said, worst case by the weekend. So guys, I appreciate y'all coming out, coming hanging out a little bit. Sorry about the confusion. Good Lord. It is yeah, it's been a mess. So, but I want to jump on here regardless. I want to jump on and say, hey, hang out for a few minutes. And so, yeah, I know, Daisy, it's, I tell you what, it's going to be good. So you already check out her channel, give her a subscribe. So, yeah, you never know, Tony. You never know. Who knows? Hey, Keza, how's it going? You're going to have to go back on the rewatch unless you've been lurking and listening. But anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all very much. Again, we'll be doing those member streams here in the next week or so, probably. I think we've already got close to 30. So that's good. That's really good. So that's all right, Debbie. I know you'll go back and hit it. So we appreciate you. All right, guys, I'm going to get out. I'm going to bed. I got some stuff I got to do before I can lay down. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. I got to hit my real job. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. I should have up a thumbnail and a video scheduled live sometime tomorrow for Tuesday morning. So remember, we'll be back to 8 o'clock a.m. Central for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then, yeah, we're going to go from there. Guys, thank y'all for coming out. I will, sorry, I keep watching this chat. It keeps grabbing my attention. Yes, please leave a comment for the algorithm. The algorithm likes it. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day. And I'll see y'all right back here real soon.